Super sexy, the Bersa M2XI shooting impressions video. Coming up next, you'll see my absolute first shots through the gun. We'll do full magazine plus one to see how the included MechGuard magazines run. Do multi-mag to try it with some other double stack 1911 pattern magazines. Take it to the what's for dinner table, see what the gun eats. The spinner for sights and trigger control. Do some practical accuracy on a 1-inch square from 7 yards, and give you my concluding thoughts. All coming up next on GBGuns. It's hot, guys. 90 degrees with a very, very consistent, persistent sun. Anyways, I'm out about 25 yards away from a 12-inch round. Let's hope I can hit it this time. It was a bit embarrassing last time, but that's reality, and that's how I start things here. Absolute first shots through the M2XI. Got 10 rounds of Winchester 115 range ammo. Basically, it's the brown box range ammo. That's what I'll be using today. The safety, so I've been handling this gun a lot in excitement of shooting it. The safety detent onto fire feels great. Coming onto safe, still a little grindy. Maybe that'll work out throughout the video. Let's see. Shoots pretty nice. Not seeing my misses. Slide feels a little sluggish. Low right this time. Yay, I've broken the low left trend. Oh, we weren't fully in battery that time. Recock the hammer. So that might be a little break-in. Winchester tends to be a hot load. If you've seen my 23 load test, where I chronoed 23 different loads through the same gun to find out, those are all 9mm 115 grain loads. If there really was a difference, I found a surprising, shocking difference between loads. The Winchester tends to be the hottest. Now we'll kill the target camera because this is going in the dirt. Full magazine plus one, giving us 19 rounds. With the gun already closed, a full mag goes in pretty nicely. So good job Bersa for choosing MechGuard, and good job MechGuard there. And see if I can get a feel for the rhythm of the gun, and also see how the gun runs fully stuffed. So I used to be a big fan of 5-inch 9mm guns. Kind of moved away just because they stopped being a thing. Now they're coming back. And one of the things I loved about them was the slower kind of rocking recoil. And what I was feeling there was, with this slide being currently a little sluggish, now this is brushed stainless on brushed stainless, so it's going to have different friction than the black model will. It's kind of letting the slide get back into place as I reset the trigger, and then pulling again. It was a nice rhythm. It wasn't my fastest shooting, but it was a good rhythm. Now let's try some different magazines and see if they run. If you're familiar with 1911s, you know they tend to be magazine picky, especially 9mm 1911s. Now double stack 9 1911s have been around for a while. There are a few other magazine options out there. I've got Checkmate and a Duramag here. Just 3 rounds in there, see how it fits and cycles. The Checkmate slides in almost too easy. You can rattle in the gun. See if it cycles for us though, just 3 rounds. Yes, and it drops free. Now the Duramag, much more firm grip, doesn't rattle as much. And locks open. And that is good news for the next segment. Thanks to our Ammo Squared supporters and winners, it's What's for Dinner Time. As I roll past these, you see today we're rolling from 95 grain up to 165 grain, looking to see what the gun will eat. Each of these loads has the ogive in a different location. That's the broadest part of the bullet. Case material, case coatings, bullet shape, overall length, all different loads from 95 to 165 grain. That critical duty is 135, so I'll turn that box around. But you get the point. We're looking to see, does it feed from side lock? Does it cycle and load another round of the same type? And will it lock open on empty? Testing beyond that is rather time and resource intensive. If you want to do that yourself, you're welcome to. Check the pinned comment for sources. Why, yes, I am backlit. And yes, this is a reality of being in the north. What's for dinner is shot at some 2-inch circles from 7 yards away. They provide just an approximate aiming surface. Also gives us a chance to see if there's any point of impact shift. The reason why what the mag test was, multi-mag was important is the gun came with 2 mags. We have 10 loads to get through. It's nice to be able to use my other double stack 1911 magazines. If we have an issue, I'll swap to the included magazines just in case there's some type of intricacy there that we're unaware of. Circle 1 is the 95 grain MagTech jacketed soft point. That stuff is flashy even out of a 5-inch. Crazy. Circle 2 is the Federal Ballistic Clean 100 grain, lead-free and frangible, snub-nosed. Always smells a little cinnamony, but cycles the gun. Circle 3, the Blazer Reduced Recoil 100 grainer. If you're wondering about the pause, it's because I'm having trouble getting my eye to focus on the front sight post. I don't know what's going on. A little bit of a vision challenge there today. But that ran. Circle 4, SIG 365, 115 grain. Now keep in mind this stuff is meant for shorter barrels. It's definitely going to get full combustion out of a 5-inch. Man, I could not get my eye to focus, but that grouped just fine. Circle 5, the Hag, Hornady American Gunner, 124 grain. More recoil for sure. No issue cycling. Moving on to Circle 6, Federal Premium Law Enforcement HST, 124 grain. Actually feels softer than the Hag did. And I've been aiming dead center the whole time, hitting a touch low. I experienced this with another firearm recently. It may be my vision. It may be that I'm not clearly seeing the sights. It'd be terrible to have to wear glasses, but I might have to go to that. Circle 7, the PMC PMC SFX 124 grain. I believe the continuation of their old Starfire line. Man, it's such smooth recoil. Very comfortable gun to shoot. Circle 8, Hornady Critical Duty 135 grain. Thank you to the viewer who shared in my humor about Critical Duty recently. Your Critical Duty is a little earlier in the day than mine is. Wow. That feels nice in this gun. I pulled that last one. Circle 9, Winchester Defense 147 grain. This stuff tends to be stout despite being a 147 grainer. And again, it's just a gallop in the M2XI. Very nice. This will be fun. See if it cycles the gun. The Ammo Inc. Stolf with no A, 165 grain. It's great stuff for shooting suppressed large format pistols and PZCs. Oh, and I keep forgetting out of habit. I was trained on a 1911 when inserting magazine on a reload, you roll your thumb up to hit the slide release. That's why the 1911 slide release reach is never an issue. But the Bersa has an extended one, so you can do it with your firing hand. Forgetting to use it. Cap gun soft. No issues running any of that. Now, let's put Graham's eyes to the test a little bit for sights and trigger control over on the spinner. That is a 6-inch spinner target. We are back about 13 yards away from it, maybe a little further this time because it's hot out and I don't want to walk that far. I'll leave you zoomed in so you can watch, but I use this for sights and trigger control because it's a small target, and when I hit it well, it starts moving. If I want to continue that movement and spin it over the top, I've got to only hit it when it's moving away from me, which requires me to time a well-placed shot, hence sights and trigger control. 8 rounds of that same Winchester 115 grain. See how we do? Come on, eyeball, focus on that sight for me. Thank you. Dead. That was pretty dramatic and pretty quick. Barely used any ammo, which is great. You might be wondering, is that old target falling apart? Yes, but there's another factor at play here. We've got a 5-inch barrel. Remember, SAMI spec for 9mm is 4 inches, so with 5 inches, we're getting above advertised velocity, or should be anyways, and with this Winchester, we definitely are getting plenty of power. It smacked the steel, and that's what killed it. As far as how the gun performed for me with that, this, I believe it's a night vision sight. It doesn't say so for sure, at least not that I can read, haha. But you saw it in the tabletop, really helps grab the eye, even with my eye refusing to focus at that distance. I hope I haven't fatigued my eyeball by focusing at that arm's length front sight too many times in my life. But again, that gallop of a recoil impulse is easy to ride. It maybe forces me to shoot a little bit slower than I possibly could or I have with other guns. However, it also allows for a nice settling of the gun and gives me plenty of time to prepare what I'm going to do with the trigger. So for sights and trigger control, it worked pretty well. You guys have been watching the 90-degree angle footage. You can tell me what you're seeing in the recoil impulse, but to me, it feels like a nice, slow, comfy gallop. Now let's do some practical accuracy. Practical accuracy is done at a 1-inch square from 7 yards. That's a tiny target at this distance, but it also makes for a fine aiming point as long as my eyeball cooperates with me. That same Winchester, see how we do. This is also really where I collect my thoughts about the gun. I totally jerked that one. Not bad. After shots for the Bersa M2XI. Is it what I hoped it would be? And I purchased this, by the way, full retail. Yes. So when I reviewed the Bersa B1911, the single stack classic 1911s being made also here in the US by Bersa, I was really impressed with the fit and finish and overall performance of that gun, especially for the price point. This guy is beating some other American-made double stacks and is hanging out near the import double stack 1911 price range. So I was curious how they could pull that off and what we'd get. In the tabletop, things seemed pretty nice. It has a very tight fit. That might be part of the sluggish slide that I'm feeling. I did add a touch of oil in the tabletop just because it felt like it needed it, but you can hear a little bit. I don't know if that's the spring over the guide rod or the slide on the frame, but it is a smooth gun, comfortable shooter, easy to shoot. With my eyes, if they continue like this, I'll be slapping a dot on it for further use. But I'm curious to hear from you guys what you think about 5-inch versus 4 1/4. Now, the more 5 inches are floating around, do you want to go back to them? Or if you're a newer shooter and don't remember the last time 5-inch 9mm were a thing, are you curious about it? To me, it takes it from that pounding now race of the shorter guns into a nice, comfy ride that quite honestly feels a little bit more like 45 in that 45 pushes instead of snaps. With this, you're not getting the push because it's still 9mm, but you're not getting the snap of 9mm either. It's just this nice, cushy ride. So great job, Bersa, with the M2XI. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you specifically to the patrons for making this possible.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters. GBGuns and